Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Star Citizen video. As you can see by the title of this video, well, I don't even know yet. Maybe you guys can leave a comment and see what's more catchy, but a deep dive into Star Citizen, or Star Citizen deep dive, or Star Citizen from the beginning. I'm not sure yet. But basically what this is going to be a series I think I'm going to do starting every Tuesday. So we'll do an episode on Tuesday, then episode 2 the following Tuesday, and so on and so forth. If you guys seem to enjoy it, maybe we'll do it twice a week. But I did a video a couple days ago titled, Is Star Citizen a Scam? Obviously, that's going to bring attention to it. People are going to want to talk about it, defend it, or, you know, argue against it. And I think recently it's been interesting. It basically all came, let's be honest, from recently with the roadmap. Them saying they're not going to show it anymore because the community was creating too much noise about it, taking them too literally for their goals that they were putting out there. And then you get kind of saying, you know, the community, well, we all know already what's been happening. So in that video, a lot of people agreed with some of the things that were said. Some people disagreed. It always comes back to, you know, do research and things like that. And also, you know, people say Star Citizen, they've always said, you know, these roadmaps and things like that, they're not a set in stone thing, like this is what we're doing and it's gonna be here. Things get pushed back, new technology that they try to create comes along, and then the old things don't work. And I'm a big fan of, if it ain't working, don't push it out. So I'm a big fan of that. But I had also mentioned that I think that at some point Star Citizen has used these roadmaps and have used inside Star Citizen as marketing. You know, even though it's not to be taken literally, they do sometimes make it seem like this is what's coming, this is what, you know, you get to look forward to next month or next year, whatever it is. And so that's what I'm interested in for this video series. Let me know if you're interested in this, leave it in the comment section down below. But essentially what we're going to be doing is, let me show you right now. So this right here is the Star Citizen YouTube channel, right? So I was like, okay, if I need to do research, or if I need to go back and see if they said something that could be, you know, taken the wrong way, what better way to do it than to actually go deep in? A lot of you guys that are watching this video have played Star Citizen for years. Some of you maybe just months. Some of you have been backing it since the very beginning. And I thought, okay, there's a lot that I've missed out on, clearly. If I've only been playing this game for a couple of years, there's so much stuff that I didn't know about or I've learned about this week that could be interesting to me. So what I thought we'll do on this series, and let me know in the comment section down below if it's something you're interested in, is what I was going to do, and bear with me, but I thought, okay, each video, so like today's video, we're going to watch the first, you know, 6 videos here. They're pretty short. It seems like it's reasonable. So we're going to go back to the very first video they published on their YouTube channel and just listen to it. Listen to the development, see how far they've come, because I think that's something that people do forget about sometimes. They look at the whole project as being, you know, some people say a scam, but saying, oh, there's not enough that's happened over the last 10 years. So I think it'll be interesting to go back and see exactly how far they've come, but also to see how they speak about the game and how they talk about things that are coming in the future, and to see if it is, you know, like they're promising things, over-promising and under-delivering, or if it's always been very transparent. So what we'll do, today's video, is we're going to watch the first top row right here. And then next video we'll watch the second row right here. And we'll just talk about it. We'll listen, we'll give credit where credit's due, we'll see how far they've come, and we'll keep going. And there's some videos that we won't watch the whole row in one. For example, this row right here, you can see these videos are around, you know, 30 minutes long. There's a 42-minute video here. And this is Wingman's Hangar. It looks like it's almost like a little mini podcast. I don't know if that's something we would watch just one video and discuss it, or if this is even interesting at all. I don't know. But you can see, if it's a red line, that means I've watched it. You can see all of these I have never watched. I don't know what they're going to be about. A lot of these people I am not even familiar with. I don't know who any of these people are. Maybe they're still in development, we don't see them, or maybe they're no longer with the company. I don't know. But we'll find out here together. But you can see the very first one I have watched. I was thinking about this yesterday on what would be a cool idea for a video. So I just started this and I watched it. I'm like, you know what, this could be kind of cool. Not only just for the research purposes, but also just having fun and going back and just, you know, I've never seen these before. It'd be cool to see the development of this game and just take a deep dive and give a fresh perspective, a new, modern, up-to-date, knowing where the game is now perspective on what it used to be and what they, you know, wanted to do. You can see there's also, I watched a teeny bit of this Kickstarter. I wasn't really listening, I just put it on to see what it was about, but, so yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. So let's start off with the very first video, Star Citizen Immersion. This is 9 years old. It's the very first video they have on their YouTube channel, and we're gonna dig deep. And if this series does do well, and you guys really enjoy it, maybe we'll see some things that we can help close some of these arguments. And we'll be able to see, you know, exactly what they're doing. So anyway, let's jump into the very first one, Star Citizen Immersion. Okay, I am ready for this. I can't even remember that. You know what my memory's like. I can't even remember watching this. But anyway, I am excited for this. I really am. There's probably a lot of information too, that videos even older than this 9 years that I haven't seen. And maybe you guys can let me know about those if you think there's something cool that you think I would enjoy. But yeah, let's just go ahead. Maybe we'll pause it. If something interesting comes up, but for the most part, we'll try and just watch it together and see what it's all about. I don't know what the sound's going to be like. This is 9 years old, so I'm assuming it's going to be kind of all over the place. But I'll try and monitor it to make sure it's kind of even with my speaking voice. Okay, let's go.
So one thing I think you'll all be very excited about is the level of fidelity in space, the graphical...
Okay, so first and foremost, straight off the bat, the graphics have got much better, which is a given. It's 9 years old. We got an arrow right here, but okay. No, this is cool. It looked way more arcadey back in the day. I'm kind of glad they steered away from that.
Detail and the immersion, because it's to a level that I've never been able to achieve before. I'm trying to build a world that is so detailed. And
so in the very first video they showed, that's the Bengal, right? So we just saw that was it this year? Or was it the end of last year? We just saw this in-game. Can't use it, but it was flying around and it looked sick. Even though I was getting like 2 FPS. It looked cool.
It has such great texture that you forget that it's a game, which is always my goal when I'm building games.
The characters kind of look like space engineers, don't they?
Just climb into the cockpit of the fighter. And as you can see, as we're sort of climbing in, there's a huge amount of detail in the cockpit, because one of the biggest keys for me in the next game I'm building is I really want to have that immersion to be complete, and we're going to do a lot.
So the getting into the ship, the animations pretty much look exactly the same as what they're at right now, so I think they've nailed that. Obviously, this looks a little bit more detailed with the monsters that kind of like fold in and stuff like that, but it also, like I say, it looks a lot more arcadey. So is this even something that you would want? It looks like a completely different game.
A lot of things that will really push that. Everything inside the cockpit operates and moves and works. If I look around the cockpit, you can see the displays.
So credit where credit's due. When he's saying, you can tell right away from this very first video, the attention to detail he wanted, right? He wanted every single thing you touch in the cockpit to do stuff. And to be fair, a lot of it does. Sure, there's a lot of buttons that don't really do anything right now. But as far as the screens, like you can hit the menu, you can scroll through the engines, you can turn them on and off, you can look at the shields, the weapons. So it is very detailed. So I'm glad that, you know, he accomplished that.
My hands on the throttle, my hands on the joystick. The whole idea is we're immersed fully in a cockpit that's fully rendered in 3D. So if you issue a command, you hit a button, you'll actually see your character do it in the cockpit. It's all for the immersion. Well, I think immersion is really important for me, because I think that you have to really
Xbox controller.
Visualize and create a very believable world. I mean, so that's one of the reasons why I always...
Tell me that doesn't look like space engineers, man. It looks like space engineers. Which says a lot for this game, because space engineers look like that now, and this was 10 years ago. But, what the hell are these red things?
We sort of really push the visual fidelity is because I think that helps with the immersiveness. And the more immersive, the more connected you are to the experience. The more connected you are to the experience, I think the more fun the game itself will be. So an example of that is if we're looking around at our character, we can see that, you know, the character himself is, you know, about 100,000 faces, which is about 10 times the detail of most current day AAA games. There are about 10,000 faces or so. And so that just allows you to have a little extra detail the wires on his pilot outfit, the creases in the uniform, and have it really stand up when
he's scratching his ass. As far as the outfits go, they are incredible. I think no one will disagree with that. Like, the level of detail they put into the clothing and in this game is kind of insane. Like, the leather jackets, and they just look so good.
You come in close and not break down because it's too pixely.
But he was talking about all these wires on the suit and stuff. I feel like they may have gone away from that a little bit. I can't think of any of the suits that do have a lot of wires on them. Okay. First one done. So far, so good. All right, let's look into physics.
So I'm really excited about the physics, and they're going to be a strong part of the gameplay. So let me demonstrate some of the features of how the physics interacts with how you control. The ship itself is built and designed and simulated like a real ship. So there's 4 thrusters on the bottom, and there's 4 thrusters on the top, and then of course there's obviously the engine at the back. Most of the ships in this universe
they've come a long way.
Very much like an F-35 would do. They're fly-by-wire, so they take your input as
It is funny though seeing that. That is the Bengal carrier, right? I'm not going crazy. It is the Bengal.
And crunch it into trajectories and vectors it needs to tell the various thrusters to achieve what you've asked it to do. So if I want to rotate, or I want to, say if I want to pitch, like I'm doing now, or I'm going to yaw, or I'm going to roll, it actually pulls the thrusters themselves and says, how quickly can you rotate to the position I need you to deliver thrust, and how much thrust can you deliver? And the thrusters talk back to the flight computer and says, okay, I can get you there in 0.1 of a millisecond, and I give you this much thrust. The whole system is dynamically doing that every single frame and flying that way. It's really cool because what happens is a lot of unexpected or dynamic behavior happens by it. And then, for instance, if we're flying around in a dogfight, one of our thrusters gets damaged, it will affect our maneuverability. And it's not a matter of changing a script or data, it's actually all dynamically simulated in the system.
Interesting. I mean, it is. I mean, the thrusters in this game are incredible. All right, next one. They said I was dead. So this one, Star Citizen, what is it? This is actually a pretty interesting one. This one's a little bit longer. This is 11 minutes. And it looks like they have actually gone back to their old videos because they have these chapters in here that you guys can see, which is a newer feature. I don't even have these on my video, just because I'm lazy. But they have them, so they've gone back and done the work. So anyway, let's continue. They said console was the future. Now they say mobile and tablets are the future. I say to you, reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. I mean, yeah, they did. Let me put my headset on because I don't know if there's echo coming through or not. As far as like the, you know, PC gaming, I think PC gaming has always been the better. Did they say consoles were the future? I don't even know if they did. Probably did, and mobile gaming and all that. I mean, you can't knock mobile gaming though. I mean, and not that they're knocking it, but look at this Call of Duty Mobile. I don't know, some of you may know about it, may not know about it, but they have COD Mobile. And they made $1 billion last year on revenue. $1 billion from one game. So, I mean, you know, keep that in mind. So, thinking about marketing and things like that, you know, seeing this ship. Now, I'm trying to look at this now as using, like, are they trying to sell me on this? Or are they saying this is what's coming? You know, this is 9 years ago. Actual game assets rendered in real time in engine. So they're saying this is actual game assets rendered in real time. So we only just saw this ship in game. You still can't fly it, but we only just saw this ship in game now. So it's been 9 years since we first saw this. I don't even know if this is the first time that they showed this. It's probably not. But let's see if they make it seem like this is the game. Sorry if it's really loud. I'll try and fix it. one thing is, yeah, like they say this is actual in-game, like rendered in-game. This stuff isn't, like, did they make the interiors of like the Bengal? I don't think so, right? Like, this is all interior shots of the Bengal. So what I'm looking for here, because looking at this video, like I'm sure a lot of you, watching this 9 years ago, I would have been sold. Just as me watching this now, I'm sold. This looks sick. What I'm trying to dig into in this series, as well as just learning about the game and how far it's come, is have they ever made it seem, because that's the thing that we were discussing last video, was where they try and sell you on something and it doesn't come out. And people are like, they're not trying to sell you. They've never said, you know, this is just things they're working on in the future. They can push it back, yada, yada, yada. So I want to see, like, in this video as well, is this, like, if I'm watching this, yeah, hell yeah, I want to buy it. But do they make it seem like this is what you're getting now? Or do they make it seem like, you know, this is going to be 10 years before you get... Because, I mean, this is... We don't, like... It's been 10 years since this. You know what I mean? Or 9 years. So anyway, let's just see. I'm open mind. Squadron 42. See, I didn't see that. It just says Star Citizen. It didn't say anything about Squadron 42. Okay, so that makes sense why I haven't seen it. So this is Squadron 42. That's why you see the inside of the ship and everything like that. So this is where, you know, the first time if I was watching from the beginning, I would see the mention of Squadron 42.
Hi, I'm Chris Roberts. Ever since I saw Star Wars as a wide-eyed 8-year-old, I dreamt of being a hotshot pilot saving the galaxy or a lovable rogue making my way across the cosmos. It inspired me to make Wing Commander and has influenced everything I've done since then. 10 years ago, after 20 years of making games, I was burned out, so I took a break, but I never stopped playing games nor loving them. And now, I'm ready to come back, and I'd like to show you something I've been working on.
This is a pretty sick little animation.
But I don't want to build any old game. I want to build a universe. I want to build a game I always wanted to build, but I didn't have the tools to do until now. One that you can fly off a carrier fighting a heroic war on the front lines, but also one that you can muster out and find your own fortune in the stars wherever your spaceship takes you. I want to be able to share this experience with my friends and fight against real opponents in space, not just AI. And I want this to be as good or better than any other game out there. And I want to actively push the boundaries of what you can do in a game. None of this would have been even possible 2 years ago. But with Moore's Law driving PC performance and cost and the gaming community embracing talented developers via crowdfunding, I believe it is possible today. I've never been accused of having a small vision, and so I thought it was best if I share my ambition with you visually. I'm pretty excited by how it's joined out, so why don't you come join me for a sneak peek?
So this is the verse now, here we go.
What I'm building, you know, the Star Citizen and the Squadron 42 combination, you essentially have both things available to you. So Squadron 42 is the sort of single player experience where you are getting missions. You're in the military, so you know it's not that open world because you're going to be going AWOL if you decide you want to go off to some other planet. So the idea of it is you serve a campaign, you fly missions, it's branching just like Wing Commander was, and you have exactly that Wing Commander experience with the added bonus of some multiplayer and your friends be able to sort of co-op play with you as wingmen when you fly your missions.
I thought this could be just old information, but I thought you couldn't co-op Squadron 42. But I mean, from what I'm getting from this, that's what at least at the beginning, the goal was.
But when you finish your tour of duty, you muster out and you're in the wide universe, and then it's open world. You can go where you want, do what you want, choose who you want to be. And the other thing that's nice about this is you don't have to do Squadron 42. You can get into the Star Unit. You can basically decide you're never going to go fight in the military. You can decide that I'm just going to be a merchant or I'm just going to be a pirate. I think what we're talking about here has everything that made Wing Commander great and has everything that made Privateer and Freelancer great. It basically has both things and the single player sort of military campaign side sits inside this whole universe in a holistic fashion. The idea is that it should be dynamic. So I've talked about the universe being a living entity and something that's always changing, and it's going to change based on the player's actions. So things that players do will have an effect on the universe, and they'll also be able to become part of the universe. So a good example is, say, a player that's an explorer and they explore around enough time and they find a space anomaly and then they manage to navigate a jump. That jump point and the system that they've jumped into will get named after that player. So like that player becomes part of the history.
I don't know if this is still in game. This is the first time I've ever heard about this, but that's actually really cool. Having a jump point named after you? That's actually sick. I don't know if that's still a thing, but we're literally gonna, this is why I'm excited to do this video, because we're gonna learn, at least, for those of you who are new, I think this will be a fun series to watch, but also for me, just learning more about the game and its development. I think it'll help me understand more and being able to have just a better conversation with people when it comes to, this is a scam. No, it's not. It's not a scam. We know this. I'm not even going to get into the, is it a scam? But, you know, is the hate on the development deserved or not? I think that's more so. I want to be able to talk to people and have that conversation with more knowledge. I think knowledge is so important. So I think this is a good thing to do. But that's sick. I want a jump point named after me.
History and lore of the universe. And on top of that, you know, we're going to be dynamically adding content to these universe. I'm not interested in having yearly updates. We'll have a team of people that are adding content on a weekly, every 2 weeks basis. So you're
That's a big
starting
dream.
the system and you start in the game and it's got 50 star systems, for instance. And 2 weeks in, a jump point's discovered for another system and someone navigates it and bam, we've got a 51st system and so on.
It's cool. The idea's there, right?
So one thing I think you'll all be very excited about is the level of fidelity in space, the graphical detail and the immersion, because it's to a level that I've never been able to achieve before. I'm trying to build a world that is so detailed and has such great texture that...
So this is what I was discussing, recently last week as well. Like, because the development of the game's taken so long, is it gonna outdate itself? But it seems like they've done a really good job of staying up to date. Because, like, this looks very arcadey, right? It does. It looks more arcadey. And now, compared to what it's like now, it looks very detailed. So you can see they've come a long way just from these, early on videos that we have here. So it shows that they can keep up to date with, the technology. I think the difficult thing is trying to stay up to date, right? Because it's taken so long. It's a good thing because they're not finished yet, so they're constantly able to keep up to date with the latest technology. But it's also probably a bad thing because they're constantly having to update the game that they already have to keep up to date with technology. So it's an interesting one.
You forget that it's a game, which is always my goal when I'm building games. I'll just climb into the cockpit of the fighter, and as you can see, as we're sort of climbing in, there's a huge amount of detail in the cockpit, because one of the biggest keys for me in the next game I'm building is I really want to have that immersion to be complete. And we're going to do a lot of things.
This is kind of a repeat of what they've already said.
Everything inside the cockpit operates and moves and works. If I look around the cockpit, you can see.
But you can tell this is Star Citizen, right?
My hands on the throttle, my hands on the joystick. The whole idea is we're immersed fully in a cockpit that's fully rendered in 3D. So if you issue a command, you hit a button, you'll actually see your character do it in the cockpit. It's all for the immersion. Well, I think immersion is really important for me because
we've seen this.
You have to really visualize and create a very believable world. I mean, so that's one of the reasons why I always sort of really push the visual fidelity, is because I think that helps.
The turrets look so much better now than they did.
The more immersive, the more connected you are to the experience, I think.
Did they have the turret on a head tracker?
So an example of that is if we're looking around at our character, we can see that the character himself is about 100,000 faces, which is about 10 times the detail of most current day AAA games. There are about 10,000 faces or so. And so that just allows you to have a little extra
Get over him scratching his ass, man.
Wires on his pilot outfit.
It does look like space engineers.
And have it really stand up when you come in close and not break down because it's too pixely. I'm really excited about the physics, and they're going to be a strong part of the
We've just
gameplay.
seen
So
this.
when
If this is going to be him flying around
some
his
of the
ship
features
again
of
with the
how to
thrusters, we
fly
literally just watched
computer and says, okay, I can get you.
Okay, scale. Here we go.
So here's a really great example of the level of scale. I'm going to walk out this corridor and out onto the flight deck, and as you can see, it's huge. The carrier that's in the prototype level is about 1 kilometer in size. It's full of activity and spaceships and people. So one of the things that I'm the most excited by the technology being worked.
It's funny because they had this. I mean, this is the prototype, obviously, but 9 years ago they had the interior of the Bengal. But it's obviously, you know, it wasn't working, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of the inside of the ship from this video, which I have never seen before. But it's obviously old prototypes. But that is interesting to know that they had it back 9 years ago. Still not in game, though. But I also think a lot of these things, they probably, a lot of the stuff, they could probably do the ships faster and get them out. But I don't think they want to. I think they want to release them slowly so that they can, you know, keep funding stable and not like all at once. I mean, they've already sold ships like the Idris, right? People have already pledged thousands of dollars for ships like the Idris, which we still don't have in game yet, but we have seen it, right? With the Xenothreat, we've seen it. We've had people, myself included, but I think it was Space Cutlet, was the first person to discover how to get into it and fly it. Obviously, it's probably not how it should fly, but we still got a chance to fly it around, whether we were supposed to or not. But yeah, the Idris. There's a lot of ships that they've sold that aren't out yet. And there's a lot of ships they've sold that are out, but you can't use them for what they're supposed to be used for. But that, to me, is more of... it's funding, right? They need to release these ships to continue funding, because that's their main source of income. But that comes to the point of... at what point is that frustrating? A, you don't need to back the game in that way. You don't need to buy an Idris knowing that, you know, it's not going to be out for a few years. You don't need to. You know, that's just you supporting the game, getting it for cheaper than it's probably going to be when it gets released. But that, even in itself, is interesting. Because it's that FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. You know, I think a lot of people maybe do buy onto these ships because they know the way Star Citizen does it, where they'll release it and then the prices will keep going up. So they want to get it while it's cheaper. Is that a good thing to do? Like, is that a fair practice? To basically, you know, entice people to buy ships? Because, like, hey, buy it now, otherwise it's going to cost you more later. You know, just naturally as a human, you'll want to make sure you get that deal. So you'll buy onto things that aren't out yet because you don't want to feel like you've been screwed later on when it costs you like $300, $400, $500 more. I know there's a lot of people that do buy ships for that reason. So yeah, it's interesting.
Working on is the ability to scale. So we have detail for scale at a human level. So our character's about 1.8 meters in size. Then the same level of detail for a fighter craft that you'll fly, or a bigger craft, which, you know, say this fighter craft is 27 meters in size. I'm building a game and a universe that's essentially the universe in the game I would like to play. So it's for gamers like myself. So I wouldn't say that I'm a social, casual gamer that plays Farmville. I mean, I like sophisticated...
Hey, don't talk smack about Farmville. That was a great game. Anyway.
Experiences. Well, I'm picking PC over console because PC was what I always used to do in the past, but more importantly, it's because PC is an open platform. PC is always constantly innovating. I really care about the PC. I really want to push the PC to the limit. I think
definitely
it's
the way
a great
to go.
game platform. I'm really actually quite sad and angry about the situation right now, where it sort of feels like, you know, PC games and PC gamers don't get any respect. It's the...
If only he knew the future. Maybe he did. Like, PC gaming, since this came out 9 years ago, I would say in the last 5 years, maybe even less than that, 4 years, it has tenfold. Like, everyone wants a PC to game on now. It's the opposite. Consoles have dropped down. Consoles are more for the younger, audience now, just to get into gaming. And PCs, everyone wants. And I think a lot of that came from streamers. I do. I think, watching people on Twitch with their PCs and having all these PC setup videos really made the younger generation want PCs over consoles. And that's, created this ripple effect. But I think, yeah, PC is definitely the way to go.
The medium that is the coolest and the most powerful, and that's really why I'm focused on PC. We're going to allow users to design some spaceships and build them and submit them, and if it passes the standards, then it can get sold in the ship dealers on certain planets, and maybe the person that built that spaceship will be earning money from other players that think that spaceship's cool. And
that's interesting. Did that happen? I don't know. Basically saying, like, I could design a ship and then get paid for selling that ship. I don't think they would do that. They need the money for themselves, you know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna, maybe they'll give the creator of the ship a 5%, or maybe they'll just give the creator in-game currency. I don't know. I think that's a difficult path to go down. I mean, it's almost like NFTs, right? We hear so much about NFTs these days, and I always compare it to like vegans. How do you know if someone's a vegan? Because they'll tell you. They're annoying. They'll make sure they tell you and try and get you to be a vegan. It's the same with people that own NFTs. How do you know if someone likes NFTs? Oh, you'll know. They'll tell you. They'll have it plastered all over social media. Nothing against NFTs, but but they basically are like NFTs in this game, right? You buy a ship that you own, and maybe they'll become rare, where, they've only sold X amount, or they only sell X amount a year, and then, you can then sell that ship for real money. I think that would actually be really cool. I really do. But at the moment, I know they're very much against that. You have the grey market and things like that, but in-game, they don't really allow you to sell your ships for real money. But I do think they will eventually, to be completely honest. I think they'll allow you to sell your ships to like other players. But will they try and keep it in-game where you can sell your ship for in-game currency and not real money? That's interesting. That's an interesting thing. I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Want to pay them for it. So one of the things that I like about crowdfunding is cutting out the politics and the...
And this is where crowdfunding, this is where it came from, huh? Let's take a little look at this. Reserve your ship now. PayPal, community pledge, okay. So ship information. Click below to read up on the different Robert Space Industries ships available. Once you find one you'll like it, proceed to the reservation. Community pledge $10. Early adopter $30. Have Starship. Will travels 40. Make mine a double. Is that like 2 ships? Wingnut, Lancer, Come Fly With Me, The Man. The Star's my destination. Go boldly and give me the galaxies. A $10,000 pledge. I mean, they still have very expensive pledges. I'm curious though, if you would have spent $1,000 here, is that going to be worth like nowadays pledges? Like, 10,000, 15, 20,000? Okay, so this is the first time I'm seeing the pledges.
The noise of the big publisher, and you're dealing directly with the people that want to experience the game that you're making. So one of my main goals whenever I make a game is to really immerse you in the world and universe. And I think you've seen that on what we've been even trying on the website today, and this visual prototype is a demonstration of the direction that I want to take and will be taking. With today's technology, I can do that to a level that I never could have done when I was making Wing Commander all those years ago, or even Freelancer 10 years ago. And it's actually really exciting. I feel like I can do something that has the fidelity of a film, but real time, and I'm in it, and that is my dream.
There's a reason there's so many
Chris
machinists.
Roberts, and I would like to build a universe with you.
My name is Chris Roberts, and I would like to build a universe with you. Yeah, but even in this, I was looking for a time frame. Didn't mention a time frame, right? I was thinking, oh, maybe they'll say something. Nope, they didn't. So anyway, let's continue. Next video. Okay, so this is Squadron 42, full cinematic trailer. This is 9 years ago. Let's see. The things that I'm looking out for in this is do they make it seem like it's coming? Do they give a time frame? And things like that. As well as just watching it because it's sick. The annoying thing about these earlier videos is I'm probably going to get copyright claims for all of this music they use, because I don't think they had their own, you know, music back then. Since this time. And the guns. Say this is a full cinematic trailer. Maybe it gets to that point, but this seems like it's just what we've already seen, right? Very loud. Look at that cockpit, boys. Yeah, this is all stuff we've already seen. I mean, it looks cool. It's literally just what we've seen, though, which I'm sure, you know, it's fine. Most people aren't watching these, you know, back to back to back. This was over a span of time, right? That's sick. I want to capture the Bengal. Make it look so good. I mean, they do have screens that do that. Not quite exactly like that, but they have screens that do that now. And that door, you know, is not going to be that quick. To open and close, I mean. I would have been straight into that, you know it. That looks so cool. enlist now. So, two things I want to say. Number one, credit where credit's due, right? Okay, the Bengals still not in game. We've seen it flying around during the events, but credit where credit's due in the fact that you look at that and where we are currently, it kind of feels like that, right? The Xeno threat and things like that feels like this. So they've definitely created their vision right here. You know, watching that, it makes you want to play. And it is almost at that point, you know? Even when the Bengal was in game, you know, flying down, flying around, it has seen all the turrets firing and shooting. They've got to that point. It may be even better than what they said here. And then the second point I wanted to say is this. This is where it's kind of, you know, you're on rocky surface here. Enlist now, right? Because this, what I'm talking about that I said here, and it feels like we're already there, this is 9 years later. Okay? 9 years from this video. And they're saying enlist now. So yes, I think to answer my question in previous videos, you know, do they use it as marketing? They sure do, right? I mean, showing all of this and then saying enlist now. If I was to watch this not knowing anything about the game, I'd be like, hell yeah, I want this. And then if it took 9 years to get to this point, which it has, I can see why people would be upset, right? Being shown this, even though what is being shown here, in my opinion, is currently in game. Not to the... It looks better than it did here, but it's not as detailed as far as, you know, we can't go into the Bengal and stuff like that. But I think they've nailed their vision, right? But the fact that this is saying enlist now, 9 years ago, and keep in mind, this is for Squadron 42, not even for Star Citizen. What I'm saying that we can see in game now is in the universe, not in Squadron 42. But if I enlisted back then, when this video is telling me to, yeah, I'd be kind of upset that I'm still waiting for Squadron 42.
Achieved with CryEngine 3.
Okay, next video! Okay, so this is the last video. This is Star Citizen adds Kickstarter. So this is like way in the beginning. I don't really know too much about this. So this will be the last video that we do in today's video. So let's just watch it together, see what he has to say.
Apparently, our site is having millions of hits and is overloaded, so everyone out.
Suspicious, KJ is suspicious. I don't think I believe that. I don't think I believe it. I think that was staged. This is 2012. So what, this is 13 years ago? How long ago was 2012? 10 years ago, you idiot. 13. Listen, just shut up. Let's cut that out. I think that was staged. Oh, wait, because no one would come up there in your middle of your speech and give you a thing, right? Which I think is kind of a sketchy thing to do. They're trying to give the impression that, oh my god, this thing's blowing up, you better get in on it. Maybe I'm looking into that too much. Let's watch that again, but I do think this was staged.
Apparently, our site is having millions of hits and is overloaded, so...
Well, apparently we're getting millions of hits and it's over. I don't believe it for 1 second! I don't believe it. I call BS on that, 100%.
Everyone out there, please be patient. We'll try and get it back up.
It just seems like it's 101 what he's doing right there. He's creating demand is what's happening. He's creating a demand. It's like anything. When you tell people, like, oh my god, everything's going down, it's going crazy, please be patient with us. Like, if you can get in and do it, good for you, because a lot of people can't, type of thing. Right? I don't believe that for a second.
And I guess we can, so...
Don't believe it. Fixing your crowdfunding website for dummies.
I think this is a little harder than I first thought. We were completely overwhelmed by the amazing response we got when we announced Star Citizen. But unfortunately, our servers were even more overwhelmed than we were and went down for a few days. So we're just at the tail end of getting it all back into order. But in the meantime, the kind folks at Kickstarter have offered to help out, and we'll be launching a Star Citizen Kickstarter page. And we know there's a lot of you out there that have asked for the Kickstarter option. You feel more comfortable with it. It's certainly more scalable than the solution that we built on our own site here. So we ask you, if you haven't pledged yet, please go and pledge there. If that doesn't work for you because you want to use PayPal or you're in Europe or something, then you can also pledge on this site. In all cases, your pledges will be connected to your Robert Space Industries membership and account, and hopefully will be all seamless. We certainly will work really hard to try and ensure that. And I would like to thank everybody that's already pledged, that's fought through the numerous glitches and bugs we've had. Thank you so much for your perseverance. To the people that have been trying to pledge and haven't managed to get through, thank you again. We hopefully will be able to accommodate you now. And for the people that haven't pledged yet, I thank you in advance, because I really, really would like to build this game. I want to build it with you, the community. I'm having a lot of fun in the process already, reading the forum posts that we have. I've even posted on a few of the forums. And the idea of sort of building a great space adventure with the community is something that's incredibly appealing to me. And I think you guys will have a lot of fun in the process too. So get out there, support us, pledge, and I have some homework to get back to.
So that was it. Pledge. I think where a lot of so I think in the early days of the backers, right, some of the people that you see that are upset is back then when he's talking about this 9 years ago, 10 years ago. It's very much excitement. It's this dream. There's this thing that's coming that they're working on, and the community's funding it, and we're going to build this incredible game, and it's going to be awesome. And then here we are 9 years later, and we're still developing this game, and we still want crowdfunding, and it doesn't look any different now than the video we just watched 10 years ago. Right? The only difference is that was a dream, and right now is a reality. So they've succeeded. They built what they said that they were trying to build. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to go through this with you guys this week or over the next few weeks. So we just did the first row today, and then tomorrow, or we'll see what your guys' feedback is on this series, but you know, maybe next Tuesday, maybe tomorrow, I don't know when, but we'll go through this next row. And it's interesting, Star Citizen final week push. You know what I mean? I think it's going to start getting juicy. Early work in progress. So I really want to see these, but I'm not going to watch them myself. I want to do it and give you guys my honest feedback on it. Squadron for another teaser trailer. It's going to be interesting to go back through this stuff and see what people are talking about, see what they're excited about, see what it is. Because the thing is, with doing this series, we're going to be able to see the development of this game from right at the beginning, right? We're going to be able to see what they were excited about, what they were working on. I want to see in these videos, if, like, when these guys are talking, you know, their devs and people are talking, are they saying, this is what I'm working on now? And if that is something that 10 years later they're still working on, then it's like, okay, what happened? You know, if 10 years ago someone's like, oh, I'm working on this little thing, and then here we are 10 years later and they're still working on that little thing, that's when it'll be interesting. But I'm excited to see, you know. I get people all the time telling me, you got to do your research, you got to do all this, you know, you got to listen to them, not, you know, you're taking things out of, you know, the way it was meant. So I think listening to it, them telling me in their own voice, coming from them directly what it is they're doing, what they're working on, and seeing what they were doing 10 years ago, and seeing where they're at right now. So we can see together the development of this game. And again, I just wanted to be clear, I love this game. I can't wait. I think there's such a great future for this game. And there's so much talent that is working on this game, the developers. It looks awesome. It doesn't look like any other game out there. And, you know, I love it. The reason I've been more critical recently, it isn't the developers. It isn't, you know, what's going on. It's more so just being, being transparent, but just communicating what's happening. You know, it's like if we watch a video, and the next time we do this video, if we watch like a video right here, let's say, I don't know what this is going to be. It says breathing live into a new PC game, or this guy talking about something. If we watch something like that, and they're talking about implementing something that's coming in, you know, Alpha 1.2, I don't even know when the Alpha started, but you know what I'm saying? If they say they're working on that and they hope to bring it out in this patch, and now here we are, you know, 8, 9, 10 years later, and that thing still isn't there, it's just why? You know, I think that's the frustrating thing, is it's just, you know, if this is a crowdfunded game, and he just said himself, right? Literally, Chris Roberts just said, I'm excited to build this game with you. So keep people in the loop, I think. Explain the development. Because it seemed early on there was so much excitement and passion for this vision. But now that vision is coming to life, it's kind of more like, okay, we're not going to... It's more now that they're just like, you know, as they've said this week, the community's creating too much noise. We can't concentrate on development. Seems like they're getting a little out of touch with this passion they had at the beginning for the community. I think they forget the community wants to know what's going on. Just because they're excited. Not because, yes, people want to hold you accountable, but they're excited about this game. They want to know what's happening. They want to know what's working, what's not working. You know, is this feature coming out? No, unfortunately, it's not coming out. Okay, why is it not coming out? Not because I'm mad, just because I'm curious. What is it that's holding you back? Is there, you know, something else you're developing that's, you know, holding you back? Is there multiple teams working on things and they just haven't meshed together yet? Just what is it that's holding you back? I think that's where the frustration comes from. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think of this series in the comment section down below. I think it's going to be fun just going through, watching these together, being able to see the development from the beginning and see what they have said. The only issue I've had so far is, I mean, I think the game looks great in these early renders even. It looked kind of cartoony, but you can see from these 10 years ago dreams, you can see them in reality now with the Xenon threat and all of that stuff, right? The only, like, little thing was obviously that Squadron 42 trailer where it's basically like, you know, join now from 10 years ago. I mean, it says 9 years, but I'm pretty sure... Okay, so it's October. So it'll be 10 years in October from this, where that came out. But, you know, showing people that amazing gameplay and then saying join now, you know, that's kind of like, you know, you don't get people too excited about things that are going to take you a decade. But yeah, so far so good. We've watched the first 6 videos. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're interested in this, if you're going to be watching it. Let me know if there's anything that you would like me to look into, if you think I'm missing something. And as always, discussion in the comments. I read every single comment. I try to respond to as many as I can. It's just a place for discussion, you know? There's no hate here on either side. I just want to talk about the game, which I love, and its development, and how we can make it a better place. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications, the little ding-dong little bell down there if you want to know when I post more videos. What else? Like button, ding-dong, subscribe. If you want to help support the channel even further, you can also become a member. Thank you to the people that have become a member recently. I appreciate you. I see you. It means more than you know. Thank you so much. Anyway, guys, I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye!